Let me tell you what happened to my girlfriend at her very first Trinidad Carnival. She planned a trip for almost a year. Costume secured. Flights booked. Accommodation sorted. She was ready. And she built her group, a mix of her girls and a few of the guys they all hang out with from back home. She thought it was going to be perfect. By Carnival Monday, not even Tuesday, Monday, the group had already split in two. The women were on the road living their absolute best lives, and the men were somewhere else, doing something else, for reasons nobody fully understood. And she spent half of her first day on the road distracted, checking her phone, trying to figure out where everybody was instead of being present in the moment she had planned for over 12 months. Was the trip ruined? No. Did it go the way she imagined? Absolutely not. And when I asked her what she would do differently, she said, and I quote, "I would have thought more carefully about who I built this group with and what that actually meant for how the trip would feel." This is exactly what we are talking about today, because the gender makeup of your Carnival group is one of the most underestimated decisions in all of the Carnival planning. And most women don't think about it until they're already on the road feeling the effects of a choice they made months ago. So if you're building your group right now, or even if you're just curious about why your last trip felt different from the one before, stay with me, because this conversation is going to change how you think about your Carnival invitation list entirely. But first, lip gloss. This is Monarch from the Face Candy Studio Beauty collection. Grab yours at the link below. The or mostly women group. Let me start here, because honestly, this is the energy that most people picture when they think of a Carnival girls trip. And there's a reason for that. There is a reason women plan these trips with their girlfriends year after year. And it becomes a whole tradition, an annual ritual, something they protect fiercely, because a woman-led Carnival group has a very specific kind of magic to it. And let me break down exactly what that looks like. On the road, when your group is mostly women, there is a freedom that is generally hard to describe until you felt it. You move when you want to move. You stop when you want to stop. You whine freely, you dance freely, you throw your hands up and close your eyes and get completely lost in the music. And nobody in your group is watching you with a complicated expression. Nobody's energy is making you second guess how you're celebrating. You are free. And that freedom is intoxicating. Women hype each other up at Carnival in a way that is truly its own art form. Your costume reveal, your girls are losing it. You're having a hard moment on the road because you're tired and your feet hurt, your girls are pulling you back in. The DJ drops that one song that you all just absolutely love. You find each other in the crowd and you celebrate together in a way that is so specific and so joyful that it generally adds to the experience. There is a collective euphoria in a woman's group that builds on itself. One woman's joy amplifies the next woman's joy. And by the time you're on the road, the energy is just electric. Where do we eat? What fete are we going to? What time are we leaving? Are we doing Juve? In a mostly women's group, these decisions tend to move more fluidly, because everyone came for the same experience. Everyone is oriented towards the same kind of fun. There's less negotiating, less compromise, less, well, he doesn't want to do that, so maybe we shouldn't. The vulnerability is accessible. This one matters, and it doesn't get talked about enough. Carnival brings out a lot of feelings: joy, nostalgia, exhaustion, emotion. And in a group of women, you can feel all of those things openly without it being weird. You can cry a little when your favorite song plays. You can admit you're tired. You can have a moment, and your girls will hold space for that without making it awkward. Now, I'm going to be real, because I always keep it real with y'all. A group of women is not automatically conflict-free. Egos exist. Different energy level exists. One person who came to the trip with unresolved stress or unspoken expectations can shift the dynamic for everyone. So even with a women's group, choose intentionally. Choose women who match your energy, who came for the same experience and who know how to show up for each other. And speaking of choosing intentionally, this is generally one of the things I walk women through in my Carnival Clarity consultations. Not just the costume decisions and the logistics, but the group dynamics. Who you're bringing, what that means for your experience, how to set expectations before you travel so nobody lands in Trinidad with different ideas about what kind of trip this is. Because a well-chosen group is half your experience. The link to book is in the description. Come and let's build your Carnival plan from the ground up. Okay, now let's talk about the other side. Because a mostly male or heavily mixed group is a real option that a lot of women either fall into or consciously choose. and it comes with its own set of dynamics that you need to understand going in. And just to be clear, I am not saying a mixed group cannot be amazing. It absolutely can be, but the experience shifts in specific ways, and I want you to know what those are. When you have men in your group, there is often a natural protective instinct that kicks in. And on one hand, that can feel really good. You have people watching your back. You feel a certain safety in the crowd. There is someone to help navigate, someone to carry things, someone whose physical presence creates a bit of a buffer. But here is the flip side. That protective energy can sometimes tip into protective control. And at Carnival, where the culture is open and free and celebratory in ways that not everyone is culturally fluent in, a protective instinct that hasn't been properly calibrated can become a problem. We have literally talked about this exact situation in a previous video, so you know exactly what I mean. And if you don't, you can watch that video here. The men in your group need to understand Carnival culture before they set foot on that road. Their protective energy needs to be pointed at genuinely protecting you, not at policing how you celebrate. The pace of the group often changes. This is something women don't always anticipate and then notice immediately when they're there. A mostly female group tends to move with a certain intuitive rhythm. You all kind of feel the energy of the road together and move with it. When you add a significant male presence to the group, the pace of decision making, the way the group moves through fetes, how the group handles transitions, it often slows down or becomes more logistical, more deliberate, more discussion, more, okay, what are we actually doing? Which is not always bad. Sometimes that groundedness is useful. But if you are someone who likes to flow freely and spontaneously, a more male-dominated group energy can feel like friction. At Trinidad Carnival, other masqueraders interact with your group. People dance near you, around you, with you. And the presence of male partners or male friends in your group absolutely changes how that interaction happens, both how it's initiated by others and how it's received within your group. In a woman's group, someone dancing near you is just Carnival. In a mixed group, depending on who the men are and how they're wired, that same interaction can become charged in a way that nobody needed it to be. At the fetes, especially the big ones, a mostly women's group has a certain mobility and freedom. You can move through a crowd, find your spot, dance without a complicated social geometry around you. A mixed group tends to cluster differently. The dynamics of who's dancing with whom, who's standing where, who's uncomfortable with what, it all becomes more present in a mixed group than it does in a women's group. I want to be clear. A mixed group absolutely works when the men in it are culturally prepared, emotionally secure, genuinely there for the experience and not just for supervision, and oriented toward adding to the joy of the trip rather than navigating it from a place of discomfort or control. Those men exist, and when you have them in your group, it generally is the best of both worlds. The protection without the control, the male energy without the friction, the group dynamic that feels full and balanced and easy. But those men, and I cannot say this enough, need to be prepared. They need context. They need the conversations. And they need to have generally agreed to show up with open hearts. This, of course, is specifically for those who are not from the Caribbean and who are not from Trinidad. And all of this, the group composition, the preparation conversations, the logistics of traveling with a mixed group is a kind of thing that goes into your planning long before you ever board a plane. My 12-month Trinidad Carnival planning guide gives you the full framework for thinking through your carnival from the very beginning, including what to book and when to book so you are not overwhelmed last minute. The link is in the description to download it immediately. So let's get into specific ways the dynamic shifts side by side. Getting ready before the road. Women's group, a whole experience. And we love that experience. Music is playing, makeup is happening, everyone hyping each other's costumes, someone doing someone's hair, laughter everywhere. It is joyful and it takes exactly as long as it takes and nobody minds. A mixed group, the men are ready in 15 minutes and they do not understand why you are not also ready in 15 minutes. And now there is a low-level time pressure that did not need to exist this morning. On the road, when the music hits, women's groups, everybody's dancing freely, fully. Nobody is watching anyone else for approval. The road just takes you. A mixed group depends entirely on the men. If they are in it, it is beautiful. If they are observers or if they are uncomfortable or if they are monitoring rather than participating, you feel that energy and it will create a small but persistent friction with your own freedom. Making decisions, women's group, do we follow this track or that one? Quick consensus, everybody moves, done. A mixed group, there's often someone who needs more information before making a decision, someone who has a different preference, someone whose comfort level is influencing the group's movement in a way that is not always about the carnival. So how do you decide? Here is my honest advice for making this decision. Ask yourself first, what do I want from this carnival? If the answer is pure freedom, maximum hype, no complications, lean toward the women's group. Build your core of women who match your energy and protect it at all costs. If the answer is, I want to share this with my partner, I want to include important people in my life who happen to be men, I want a mixed experience, then build your mixed group. But build it intentionally. Choose the men carefully. Have the preparation conversations. Set the expectations explicitly. And whatever you do, do not let the group composition happen accidentally. Do not just end up with a mostly male group because your boyfriend wanted to bring his friends and you didn't feel like you could say no. Do not just default to a mixed group without thinking through what that means for your experience. This is your carnival. You are the architect of this trip. And the people around you on that road are either going to amplify your joy or dilute it. Choose amplifiers. And regardless who is in your group, whether it is wall-to-wall girlfriends or a beautiful balanced mix, one thing that is always in your corner is your face. Your makeup needs to last through the hyping, the dancing, the emotion, the heat, and the decisions. My Airbrush Carnival makeup is built for exactly that kind of day. Long wearing, gorgeous, and fully on your side no matter what the road brings. The link to reserve your Airbrush Carnival makeup experience with my Face Candy Studio team is in the link below. A mostly women's group gives you freedom, flow, collective joy, and a specific kind of magic that is genuinely hard to replicate. A mostly male or mixed group gives you a different kind of energy, and when it works beautifully. But it requires more intentional preparation, more explicit conversations, and more careful selection of who those men are and whether they are actually ready for what Trinidad Carnival is. Neither is wrong. Both can be wonderful, but only one of them requires significantly more prep work. And now you know which one that is. Make the decision with your eyes wide open. Build your group with intention, and then go out there and have the trip of your life. If this video helped you in any way, and I hope it did, please subscribe because I have so much more coming. Every video has been building towards helping you have the most intentional, most joyful, most unforgettable carnival experience possible. And I am not done yet. Drop a comment. Are you a girls trip purist or are you a mixed group person? I want to know where my community stands on this. I'll see you in the next one. Go build your group wisely. And as always, stay beautiful.